Security Guard Training Course, Section 8, Powers of Arrest and Legal Authorities. Table of Contents. 1. Criminal Code of Canada. 2. Types of Offences. 3. Common Criminal Offences. 4. Section 494. 5. Citizens Arrest Scenarios. 6. Trespass to Property Act. 7. Trespass Scenarios. Criminal Code of Canada. Most criminal laws in Canada are written in the Criminal Code of Canada, with the exception of some acts such as Controlled Drugs and Substances Act and the Youth Criminal Justice Act. In Canada, a criminal act is seen as a crime against all of Canadian society, since all people have an interest in seeing that the rule of law, i.e., no one is above the law, is upheld. Therefore, an individual who has been the victim of a crime does not have to handle the charge against the accused. In Canada, the government brings the charge. The government is represented by a lawyer called a Crown Prosecutor, usually employed by the province. The Crown is responsible for presenting the evidence against the accused in a court of law and represents the interests of all of Canadian society. The Criminal Code of Canada is a long document that details specific offences and penalties for everything ranging from theft, assault, domestic violence, and murder. Types of offences. In order to better understand the offences under the Criminal Code of Canada, it is important to know that there are 3 categories of criminal charges. These categories are summary offences, indictable offences, hybrid offences. Indictable offences are more serious and complex than summary offences. For example, murder is an indictable offense, while causing a disturbance is a summary offense. In general, indictable offences carry greater penalties than summary offences. Hybrid offences can be treated as either summary or indictable, depending on the severity. Examples include assault and sexual assault. It is up to the Crown to determine if the matter will proceed by summary or indictable offense charges. Common criminal offences. The following slides will examine some common criminal offences that security guards will encounter while on duty. It is important to note the definition of the offences as well as the type of offence under the Criminal Code of Canada. Criminal harassment, mischief, assault, causing disturbance. Criminal harassment. Section 264. 1. No person shall, without lawful authority and knowing that another person is harassed, or recklessly as to whether the other person is harassed, engage in conduct referred to in subsection 2 that causes that other person reasonably, in all the circumstances, to fear for their safety or the safety of anyone known to them. 2. Prohibited conduct. A. Repeatedly following from place to place the other person or anyone known to them. B. Repeatedly communicating with, either directly or indirectly, the other person or anyone known to them. C. Besetting or watching the dwelling, house, or place where the other person or anyone known to them resides, works, carries on business, or happens to be. Or D. Engaging in threatening conduct directed at the other person or any member of their family. Criminal harassment is a hybrid offence under the Criminal Code of Canada. Mischief. Section 430. 1. Everyone commits mischief who A. Destroys or damages property, B. Renders property dangerous, useless, inoperative, or ineffective, C. Obstructs, interrupts, or interferes with the lawful use, enjoyment, or operation of property. D. Obstructs, interrupts, or interferes with any person in the lawful use, enjoyment, or operation of property. Mischief is a hybrid offence under the Criminal Code of Canada. Assault. Section 265. 1. A person commits an assault when A. Without the consent of another person, he applies force intentionally to that other person, directly or indirectly. B. He attempts or threatens by an act or gesture to apply force to another person if he has or causes that other person to believe on reasonable grounds that he has present ability to effect his purpose. C. While openly wearing or carrying a weapon or imitation thereof, he accosts or impedes another person or begs. 2. This section applies to all forms of assault, including sexual assault with a weapon, threats to a third party, or causing bodily harm and aggravated sexual assault. Assault is a hybrid offense under the Criminal Code of Canada. Causing disturbance. Section 175. Everyone who, A. Not being in a dwelling house, causes a disturbance in or near a public place, 1. By fighting, screaming, shouting, swearing, singing, or using insulting or obscene language, 2. By being drunk, or 3. By impeding or molesting other persons. B. Openly exposes or exhibits an indecent exhibition in a public place. C. Loiters in a public place and in any way obstructs persons who are in that place. Or D. Disturbs the peace and quiet of the occupants of a dwelling house by discharging firearms or by other disorderly conduct in a public place. Is guilty of an offense punishable by summary conviction under the Criminal Code of Canada. Citizens' Arrest, Section 494. 1. Anyone may arrest without warrant. A. A person whom he finds committing an indictable offense, or B. A person who on reasonable grounds he believes 1. Has committed a criminal offense, and 2. Is escaping from and freshly pursued by persons who have lawful authority to arrest that person. Arrest by owner, etc., of property. 2. Anyone who is A. The owner or a person in lawful possession of property, or B. A person authorized by the owner or by a person in lawful possession of property, may arrest without warrant a person whom he finds committing a criminal offense on or in relation to that property. Delivery to peace officer. 3. Anyone other than a peace officer who arrests a person without warrant shall forthwith deliver the person to a peace officer. Section 494 explained. The first section deals with a citizen's arrest that is made anywhere, including public property. This means anybody, including security guards, may arrest someone who is committing an indictable offense, or anyone who is being freshly pursued by someone with the legal authority to arrest them, such as a police officer. These are the only two circumstances when an arrest can be made on public property by a security guard. The second section deals with arrest powers for the owner of private property or someone acting on behalf of the owner, such as a security guard. On private property, a security guard may arrest anyone who commits a criminal offense on or in relation to the property. This differs from public property because security guards have the authority to arrest someone on private property for committing any criminal offense, including both summary and indictable. In every case of a citizen's arrest, the police must be contacted immediately. Scenario number 1. You are on your way home from your security shift at a concert. While sitting on the subway, you witness a male enter the train and begin to punch and kick a female who is sitting near you on the subway. The female begins to scream and ask for help. Do you have the legal authority to arrest the attacker? Why or why not? Yes, you have the legal authority to arrest the aggressor under Section 494 because he is committing an indictable offense. Scenario number 2. You are on your way to your shift as a security guard at the local mall. While walking on the public sidewalk, you notice a male individual urinating in the middle of the street. The male is also screaming profanities at people who pass by. Do you have the legal authority to arrest the attacker? Why or why not? No, you do not have the legal authority to arrest him because he is on public property and is not committing an indictable offense. Scenario number 3. You are on duty working as a security guard at the local mall. You are dispatched to the parking lot where you discover two teenagers smoking marijuana and other illegal drugs. In addition to this, they are both shouting profanities at you and other mall patrons in the area. Do you have the legal authority to arrest the attacker? Why or why not? Yes, you have the legal authority to arrest the teenagers because they are committing a summary criminal offense on the property where you work. Trespass to Property Act. Every person who is not acting under a right or authority conferred by law and who, without the express permission of the occupier, the proof of which rests on the defendant, 1. Enters on premises when entry is prohibited under this act, or 2. Engages in an activity on premises when the activity is prohibited under this act, or 3. Does not leave the premises immediately after he or she is directed to do so by the occupier of the premises or a person authorized by the occupier, is guilty of an offense and on conviction is liable to a fine of not more than $2,000. Trespass to Property Act continued. A police officer or the occupier of premises or a person authorized by the occupier may arrest without warrant any person he or she believes on reasonable and probable grounds to be on the premises in contravention of the Trespass to Property Act. While on duty as a security guard, you have the authority to enforce the Trespass to Property Act because you are acting as an agent of the owner of the property. If a person commits one of the 3 trespass offenses on private property, the owner or their agent has the legal authority to arrest that person. This legislation provides security guards with essential legal grounds to enforce rules and control who has access to the property. The Trespass to Property Act also requires that you promptly deliver the arrested person to the custody of a police officer. This can be done by phoning the local police department and advising them that you have conducted an arrest and require their assistance. Scenario number 1. While on duty at a concert, you approach a male who appears to be severely intoxicated and is shouting profanities at other people. His conduct clearly violates the event policies, and you subsequently advise him that he will have to leave the venue immediately. The male refuses to leave and states that you cannot tell him to leave because he has paid for his ticket. Do you have the legal authority to eject him from the venue and or arrest him, if necessary? Yes, you have the legal authority to remove this person from the venue. He is on private property and, as an agent acting on behalf of the owner, a security guard has the authority to demand he leave the venue. If the male refuses to leave, the security guard also has the authority to arrest him for refusal to leave when directed under the Trespass to Property Act. Scenario number 2. 2 months ago, John Moore was caught shoplifting from an electronics store in the retail mall where you work. The security guard on duty at the time advised John that he was barred from returning to the property for a period of 1 year. John was given a written trespass notice as well as verbally informed of his banning. Today, while on duty patrolling the mall, you discover John walking through the mall. He has not signed in with security or provided any reason for entering the property. Do you have the legal authority to arrest John? Yes, you have the authority to arrest John because he has committed the offense of entering where entry prohibited under the Trespass to Property Act. Scenario number 3. You are on duty as a security guard at the local mall. While conducting a patrol, you encounter an individual who is banned from the property standing outside on the sidewalk. He begins yelling and swearing at you, and when you ask him to move along, he refuses to leave. Do you have the legal authority to arrest him? Why or why not? No, you do not have the legal authority to arrest him because he is on the sidewalk. You cannot enforce the Trespass to Property Act unless he is on your property. End of Section 8. Powers of Arrest and Legal Authorities.